I'm Somer Hackley, CEO of Distinguished Search. As you may know, I have a book coming out pretty soon in May called Search in Plain Sight, Demystifying Executive Search. And this is all about going behind the scenes in executive recruiting to help out job seekers. And I have stories of my own from other job seekers, from other recruiting professionals, from retained search consultants, all kinds of folks. And so this is another virtual book reading. This is from chapter 4, which is called Magnetize Your Job Search. And if you have the book already, if you're watching this a little bit later, this is starting on page 72. Yes, it's kind of a long book. So this section is called Who Recruiters Reach Out to First. Early in our relationship, my husband, Steve, and I went to his friend's wedding in Northern Virginia. Their live band had exceptional vocalists with dynamic energy, playing the kind of music where you can't help but tap your foot, dance in your chair, and then just give in and make a fool of yourself, singing all the hits from the 80s to today. Steve and I were on the dance floor pretty much the whole time, having a blast. He exclaimed, "That's going to be the band for our wedding." I smiled and chatted over the music. "Is that the proposal?" The thing was, we weren't even engaged yet. When it came time to plan our wedding, he called his friend and asked for the band's contact information. We hired the band and decided to throw in the 3 horn players per their recommendation. We had a small wedding, and the band would be roughly about 10% of the head count, but that was okay with us. At our wedding, people kept coming up to us telling us it was one of the best bands ever. Now replace band with candidate, and you'll know how it works in recruiting. Recruiters make mental notes of who's excellent, and they're the first people that we call later, even if it's a year or 2 from now. We remember you. Let's take a current example of a search I ran to find a VP of engineering for a startup, so you understand who I called first. After meeting with the CTO to brief on the role, I took a whole day to create my search strategy, planning where and who to recruit. I thought about what companies have been on the journey my client is about to go through. And then I thought about who in that company would be the person to take them on that journey and what title or role they might have. After that, I put my head in my hands and I started to think, who do I know who could do this? Who in my network isn't suitable for this, but could introduce me to someone who is? I searched my LinkedIn network to remind me of who I already knew. And then there's a couple pages I'm skipping here. So here's a list of the people that I call first. 1, they position themselves in a way that they're lodged in my brain for the search I just kicked off. Bonus points if they were referred to me by someone I trust and know well. 2, I sent them on an interview before for a similar role and they did well or they took feedback well. 3, I called them for a similar search before and they didn't go forward, but they were respectful, responsive, and helpful. And 4, they're tagged to a similar search that someone else at my company worked on in the past. They interviewed well, or they were responsive to the recruiter working on that search. And then I have another section about how to position yourself so that you're remembered when you talk to recruiters. When you initiate a call with a recruiter, assume they don't have a job for you right now. If that's the case, here's your 1 main goal of the call. 1, to leave a lasting impression so when they kick off a search, they think of you. And that's it. It's only 1 bullet in that list. I have a whole list now of what your main goal is not, and I won't read the whole thing here, but essentially, there's a lot that people try to get across in that first call with the recruiter, like, hey, can you edit my resume, or can you introduce me to other recruiters, or can you make opportunistic introductions to your clients, or all kinds of things. And of course, ask questions, go for it. But the main goal should be for you to lodge yourself in that recruiter's brain so that in a month, 3 months, a year from now, they're like, yes, I'm working on a search. I know exactly who to call. And you want them to be thinking of you. You want your name to pop in their head, because that happens all the time. It's just like the wedding bands. We weren't engaged. We were like, this band's awesome. And then when the time came to plan the wedding, that's the band. So that's an excerpt from that chapter. Stay tuned. There is more to come.